What's up, everyone? My name is Alex, and I use he, him, his pronouns or AMR's pronouns, and I wanted to draw a diagram of my gender experience just to kind of like recap everything that I talked about gender-wise and kind of have it all in one place. I wanted to also plug two videos that are kind of like related to this. One of the videos is my layers of identity video. That one I talked about how I visualize my gender experience in layers, being like a gendered core and then layers of gendered experience on top of that. So check that video out. I should have that one on the end card, and also check out my most viewed video. It's one of the earlier identity talks. It's part male, part blank. Like, Breaking Down Demi Boy was the name of the video, and it is just talking about, like, if I'm part male, what is that other part? That one also kind of ties in with this, so if you wanted, like, the full story, the full, like, all the information, that's that is out there if you want to take a look at that. So what's going on with me lately? Getting back into recording regularly. I keep being too busy. I keep finding myself doing other things and not focusing on YouTube as much as I used to. So that's been a problem. Recently I got really into the Hunger Games, the movies. I've never read the books, but the movies were my first look into that universe, so that was interesting. It's always interesting when I get into something, especially if it's a movie, because I don't like movies. I don't normally watch movies. I just don't like sitting there watching a movie, but sometimes I get really into movies. But yeah, other than that, not much is going on. I've just been doing my usual thing, working on little side projects here and there, but largely just kind of on YouTube. Maybe I'll do a video explaining like all the different like projects I'm working on, different like goals in mind. I think that would be kind of cool. So I'm a visual person, and it really only made sense to me to do a video like this where I am literally drawing a diagram of my gender, but I think the one thing to keep in mind is, first of all, I'm very rusty. I haven't drawn in a long time. I started painting again, but not that much. But I I haven't drawn in a really long time, and also I am an abstract artist. I draw things in the abstract, which kind of works for this video because, visualizing gender in an abstract way. I have no idea if I'm even keeping the face cam. I just thought it was nice to have that there. But, I mean, do I use the airbrush? I want to see what my airbrush is set to. That's not too bad. Okay, so if you're wondering, I am using Paint Tool Sai. It's a program, I think, from China. I think I spent... I think that was the monetary conversion. I spent about $51 on the license for this, but this was also several years ago. It was at least, I want to say it was almost 10 years ago. So I did buy this, but I don't think that's necessarily bad. I think it's worth it. I do use it from time to time, and it's a permanent license. I get this thing for as long as I have the actual code for that license, which I have in my email. I don't know if I can log in to more than one device. I don't know if I can use my license on more than one device, but if I can, ask me for my code. Ask me for my Paint Tool Sai code for my license, and I will give it to you, because I think that it's cool to let other people have that kind of access. So, boy. So I made a note to make an outline of my body. I don't know, usually personhood, I tend to do it in purple. It makes sense in my brain, but let's pretend this is an outline of me. It's going to be really bad. It's going to be really bad. I haven't drawn in so long, but let's, oh God, is this person, I got some shoulders. I'm sad, apparently. Okay. I don't normally draw just like a line like that. Normally I sketch it out. Let me clean up that little corner there. Okay. So outline of me, I guess I'm very sad I've put my head down. I didn't like doing that, but let's pretend that's an outline of me. Let's move me over a little bit. I should also remember to work with multiple layers here because I will deeply regret it if I don't fix that. All right. So at my core, I always talk about a gendered core. I always talk about like layers of identity and what is at the core. And I have always imagined like my masculinity being at the core of my identity. Like it is important in me passing no matter what. Let's lighten the airbrush. Can I do that? I might just change the opacity on that. Yeah. Maybe I'll work exclusively with the opacity like that so that the layers can kind of blend together. So at its core, dark blue, it represents masculinity. And I want to visualize, I guess, just my demi-boyhood. Like at my core, masculine, but on top of that is my actual identity, my actual gender. So I can... I was going to go lighter, but I think this is okay. Should I fill in... I was going to do, like, around this circle, but should I, like, fill the body in? Is that something I should be doing? So I could do, like, one of these. And maybe it can spill out into the outer parts of me, because it is part of, like... If I put it kind of on the outside as a layer on top, it's like the outer part of the world there. Like usually I am presenting in a way that's like, yeah, I'm male, at least in a way, demi male, but I don't normally dress to pass as demi male. That can mean different things for different people anyway. But it can bleed out a little bit into that outer world. So I've always talked about, like, if I'm part male, what is that other part? And I've always thought that it was neutral. But it's kind of hard to visualize parts of an identity if I'm visualizing it in layers. Let me zoom out and hopefully not, like, ruin anything on the capture. So what I want to do is maybe instead do, like, a background to represent the neutral part of the identity. So it's in the background, but also it is still kind of bleeding into this, like, demi-boy part. I want to say that I experience gender in a neutral scope. I want to say that my gender isn't just partly neutral. If there's a weird cut there, I had to move the mic because I hit it twice with my pen. I think I fixed it. Okay. I'm not used to the mic being over here when I'm trying to draw, but I think I experience a neutral, like, malehood. I think that, like, it's always kind of through the scope of neutrality, or, like, being a neutral male. I never knew how to explain that, but I think I can reflect that in this background if I could decide on how I want to... Whoops, that's a blur. If I could decide on how I actually want the gradient to go. I was trying to go grays, greens, something that looks neutral, or like it's representing neutral. So I think, like, this might work, and then I can blur it. That's not a good blur, but we can blur the background. Every time I record, my throat just doesn't want to cooperate. I can also change... Well, I was going to change the opacity on the Demi Boy, but that doesn't look great. I can also make the background very subtle. There we go. I hope that doesn't look horrible. That's what the actual, like, layer looks like. That's how dark the layer is, but I wanted it more subtle. So I may do that. So yeah, at my core, masculinity. Let's actually make it look like it's the core. And then demi-boyhood on the outside. Can I make this kind of see-through? Maybe subtly. Yeah, very subtle. Okay. And then I talked about femininity, like a light layer of femininity on the outside. That's such a hard word to say in the middle of a sentence. And I don't find it attached to my gender in any way. I don't find femininity to play a part in my identity, but maybe I can let it kind of overlap with the demi-boyhood. I think I like the idea that presenting in a feminine way, like, is gender euphoric to me. Like, it's important that I pass as a gender non-conforming man. So the feminine part is an expression of my queerness. I put it on the outside because it's, I guess that's literally the outside of my body. Like, that is me presenting in a queer way. Sorry if my lights flicker. I think it just did that. I think my light bulbs are going out, which kind of sucks. They're going to go out at the same time because I put them in at the same time. But hopefully that doesn't happen. But if it does, we'll roll with it. I'm having so many problems with my throat right now. Okay. So I can, like, change the opacity on that. I'm not liking the background. I wanted it to be a gradient, but I think it should just be a solid color. Let me grab that. Like, yeah. Maybe it should have been a gradient from the center outward, not from top to bottom. But let me completely ruin the background. And then I can darken it. Still have it a hazy green. That's probably the best I can do. Yeah. It looks rough. It definitely looks rough, but I guess that is the best representation. The femininity, very subtle. Let me see. And I don't know how to interpret this in my head. I wanted to kind of show, like, one layer that was like name and pronouns, and should it be like up toward the head, maybe? I don't know if that's how that works. It's starting to look a little strange. It's also very bright. But I was going to represent the layer that is like my name, my pronouns, and gendered language that I use to refer to myself, a man, a boy, like, I don't know, like, I guess it would be that. Maybe it can go completely outer, and it's like the most important outmost layer. It's on top of the feminine layer, like, no matter what, on the very outside, that is my, like, this is how you're going to be referring to me. I can also make it purple. I can freely, like, how do I lock the layer? That's not that. No, wait. Yeah, okay, I can lock the layer so that I can change the color. So I can do this instead and make it purple. I'm not a big fan of purple, but I thought teal would work. Maybe it will if I pick a better way to represent this color. I'm a big fan of teal. How about that? The background may have to change into a different color entirely. So I can take the airbrush and maybe do it like way more subtle green. It's not even green. Well, maybe, let me see. Like that? Sorry for the sound of my tablet scratching. Yeah, we could do something like this. just so that the other stuff looks normal. Let me see. And then I can like bring this back. Yeah, I think I could do that. I should have added colors to my scratch pad so that I can grab the individual colors, because now the opacity, I'd have to bring the opacity up on some layers to like actually get the color back that I used for them. Okay, I was just making sure I didn't have all the layers locked. Yeah, and I kind of had like a random other idea, and it's got to be like a different color entirely, but I was thinking like maybe still at my core or like at the head. Let me, why do circles look like that? There we go. I could probably put like labels that resonate with me, which I've talked a lot about, like labels that I really like but I don't identify as, I think could be like little planets floating around me. I think that would be cool. I've never drawn an abstract piece and then explained it in a video, or just in general. It's very strange. But I think that could also look really cool. Is like, oh, I drew it on the wrong layer. That's why they look weird. Okay. New layer. In fact, outermost layer, so that it doesn't look like it's connected to this at all. Like, this is completely separate from my identity. These are just like labels I found that are like kind of neat and I kind of resonate with, but I don't personally identify as. I think a lot of queer people have like kind of a gender horde that they do not, or they don't identify as any of the things in them. So I don't know, just like it kind of looks like planets, and I can like make them kind of see-through so they're more subtle. I can also blur the edges of them if I want to. So it kind of overlaps with my layers, but otherwise doesn't really do anything. I kind of want to keep not a color scheme, but just like, I don't want things to stand out too much color-wise. I guess so. I guess this works. I don't like that one. Maybe this blue one can go over there. I didn't want it to accidentally look like there was like only the warm colors on one side, cool colors on the other. I was accidentally starting to do something like that. And then like a little yellow planet. What is it? I don't know. It's just a planet, I guess. I can also kind of lasso these and move them. I put them on the same layer, but they're fine. Like, it's not going to be a big deal. I could put like another little put like a dark green one. I like dark green. That's a good color. I like colors, dark, like green colors in general, blues, greens. I don't know if that looks good overlapping with the person, though. I can put them like this. That doesn't look good. Okay. Oh boy. Can I like fix that? Yeah. I can do like a size up, or do it. Yeah, there we go. I was gonna just make dots of color, but it's the brush, so it's not a solid color. I have to kind of like move the mouse a bunch to like get it to show up. I'm also starting to get like a little nervous, a little bit of like I don't know what you'd call it, just performance anxiety, I guess. But I guess this would be it. And maybe these planets kind of like, maybe they have their own orbit. Maybe they're like kind of related in a way. Can I like visualize this in a way that makes sense? Like, yeah, like they're kind of in their own, like kind of in like a rotation together. I wonder if that looks good. I'm going to fix the intensity of that white, so it's way more subtle, but I thought it would be cool to show like a swirling kind of orbit like this. Okay, I got planets swirling around my head, because I think a lot of almost said planets, a lot of genders I relate to, I think I think they're a bit related in a way. I think that no matter what, I tend to lean toward certain types of genders. When I say that, like, they resonate with me, I think that they're like kind of like they sound almost like me, like, but they don't quite exactly fit. So I just kind of put them in the pile of like, these are cool genders. I'm wondering if I should. I'm wondering if I should change the opacity on these, like that. They're not soft colors anymore, but at least I got rid of that, like, that weird shoulder thing happening. I didn't want it to completely. They're overlapping, but not blending in with. This I can like. No, I like it. I like it like that. I have David Bowie's Space Oddity stuck in my head right now. I don't know why. I woke up and that was playing in my head, and whenever I wake up in the morning and I have a song stuck in my head, my immediate decision for the day is, okay, this is the soundtrack of my day. Like, this is today's soundtrack, and it is David Bowie. I'm putting kind of more intense white color. I don't know if that looks right. I can also change that to like a yellow or maybe a blue. Maybe I'll go back to like the blue color. Let's change the opacity. Whoops. Lock the layer. Let's change that color that I just put in there. It don't look good. Lighter? Are we doing lighter? Like swirls of blue? I guess so. I don't know what else would work. It's pink. I'm just trying to change like the different colors within that little like orbit thing. I cannot make it look good. What if I just got rid of that layer? Yeah, let's just get rid of that layer. I was just experimenting. Normally I take so long to do a piece like this. Can I make this look better? Kind of. Yeah. I don't like how solid that line looks, but I don't know if blurring it will look good. Well, let's see. My blur tool is on so high. That won't work at all either. But yeah, I mean, this is basically, I guess this is basically like how I envision gender. Normally people do like a gender chart like this, and it's like, okay, this is like gender like in your head, and then attraction is like where the heart is, and then lower they usually put like assigned gender at birth or whatever. Like they I don't know, I've seen something like this but done kind of poorly. Can I put this layer behind anything? So the swirling part of it's kind of, can I put it behind everything? That looks weird. Hold up. Maybe. Kind of. I don't want it to look too weird. Okay. I guess that's that's the best I can do. Keeping the like the demi boy or the masculine part kind of above that like swirling thing that I made. Yeah, I guess that's it. That is a diagram of my gender. I wasn't sure how I was going to do this. I guess it's kind of adjacently related to the layers of identity video, where it's masculinity at its core, and my actual gender, demi boy, is this outer layer that kind of encompasses all of me and kind of manifests itself outside of the body a little bit. Femininity was supposed to be a more subtle, thin line of pink, but I think that kind of works. It's kind of separate from my body because it's not an expression of my gender. It's not trying to pass as anything, and femininity does not inherently tie in with my gender experience. So it's kind of separate. It's an expression of my queerness. And then, very hard to see, but the teal, which I'm not liking the color of, is my name, my pronouns. Like, specific identity related stuff that plays into my everyday life. But I think maybe it can be a cyan color. That doesn't work. Darker? I suppose so. That can kind of work. Yeah, name, pronouns, gendered language, like language you'd use to refer to me. And I made like the green background, like this very gray green background to show like it's my gendered experience through a neutral scope. I think I wanted to experiment with that visualization. And then I've got this like little grouping of planets almost floating around my head to show like labels that I like, labels that partly resonate with me, things that like I could be using as labels, but I just kind of like them for what they are rather than them actually being my gender labels. The colors don't mean anything, but I guess you could say like I like terms like maverick or neutroy, or I'm not sure, whatever these would like represent, xenogender maybe. I've always pictured that as either red or purple up here. And different sizes to show like they're not all super important, but they're at least like they play some part in my experience. They're good to keep in mind. That's why I put them around my head. Like I keep those labels in mind because I can always change my labels. But I guess that's it. So I hope that was something interesting, informative, new. I have these like notes. That's why I keep looking down. I have these little notes to show like to tell me like what to actually put. Should the background have been gray or should it have been like... Does that make more sense? Probably not. I don't know. I think I'll keep it like all the same color scheme. I think that like works just fine. So yeah, thank you for watching, and thank you for supporting me in this weird journey that I call my gender experience. We're pretty far into identity talk. I think this is number 29. Closer to like the mid-30s, I have a very important announcement to make for identity talk. Some changes are happening, so keep an eye out for that, because something is changing in identity talk, but that would be a few episodes after this one. I think I'll make that announcement, so look forward to that, and I'm signing off for now. See you later.